Hello, ladies. Welcome back to another episode of Menopause Reimagined. Today, I'm speaking to a woman, a female entrepreneur, who started a business. It's not her first business, but started another business when she was in perimenopause. And this business is specifically targeted to us ladies in this phase of life. So I'm going to introduce her in a minute. But before I do, I just want to do a quick intro to who I am. My name is Andrea Donsky. I'm a nutritionist for more than 20 years. I'm a menopause educator, soon to be 7-time published menopause researcher, and I'm the co-founder of wearemorphus.com, a company that helps to educate and empower you to take control of your health and symptoms as you go into perimenopause and menopause. And if you haven't checked out our line of Morphus supplements, I highly recommend you do. They're all on our website at wearemorphus.com. I also put a link to them below. Everything is third-party tested and high quality. Today I'm speaking with Carin Luna-Ostaseski. She's the founder of Hot or Just Me, a comprehensive online shop and go-to resource for managing perimenopause and menopause. The site offers a wide range of trusted products, expert advice, a gift shop and bookstore, and a supportive community, ensuring women have everything they need to navigate this transformative stage and feel empowered. Carin's journey with perimenopause symptoms like hot flashes, brain fog, anxiety, insomnia, and night sweats inspired her mission to find a solution. And she shares it all with us today in this interview. Now, here's Carin. Welcome to Menopause Reimagined, Carin.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you because before we started filming, you were telling me how you love Morphus products, which I'm very grateful for, or magnesium. Thank you, thank you. That means a lot to me, just so you know. We put a lot of love into our products, and I know you put a lot of love into what you do as well, because you're an online retailer for products for women in perimenopause and menopause. Tell me how you got into that, how you started it.
Yeah, so I think the term that people use is scratching your own itch. For me, I'm 48 years old and very much into perimenopause and, kind of feeling my way around in the dark for a while. My general practitioner, my doctor, was not very helpful. When I came to him for, I was having insomnia and hot flashes and I was feeling really irritable. So started kind of, talking to girlfriends, call it girlfriend medicine sometimes of, is this happening to you? And more finding out, especially from my older friends of that, hey, maybe you should talk to your doctor about perimenopause. And quickly realized that my doctor was not the right one for me and found the right woman who was menopause certified. Just kind of unlocked all these symptoms that were coming up for me and for my friends. And I know you've done quite a bunch of research on this. I filled out some of your surveys and realizing like that these symptoms are really common for women
Yeah.
at my age and that there are solutions. So I thought, what if there was one shop that had any kind of products and eventually a services directory for women to navigate some of their hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, libido, insomnia, hair and skin issues, and so much more.
I love that. So, like you said, so you're 48 years old, and like so many of us, right? You come into this and you don't know what is going on. And I love the fact that you were like, okay, I'm going to find a solution. So, how did you start it? Like, tell us a little bit about the process because, while I love the idea that you have solutions for women in perimenopause and menopause, I also love the fact that you have this entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, so this is not my first rodeo in starting a business. In my 30s, I left behind a 17-year career as a graphic designer to start a Scotch whiskey business, if
Oh,
you can
wow.
believe it.
Interesting. That's interesting.
So at the time, I was, just disillusioned with the career that I had chosen. And while I loved it at the beginning, it became an industry that focused on keeping people attached to their devices longer and longer and staring at their screens longer and staring at their phones longer. And I thought, that's not what I want my legacy to be.
Mm.
And at the time, I was going through a divorce, and I was finding myself, out with friends, drinking a glass of whiskey, and really enjoying these connections I was having in real life. With a glass of whiskey, you go slow. It's not a party drink or a shot. So you really have connections and moments. And so I thought, this is what I want to create in the world. And the
Mm.
problem was that, I'd never started a business before. I didn't have a bunch of money saved up. So I ended up launching a Kickstarter campaign to launch CS Scotch whiskey, which eventually grew through 6 years' time to become acquired by one of the largest spirits companies in the world. So
That's
I got
so amazing.
it was,
Congrats.
thank you. It was quite a journey, and it was a beautiful trajectory, and the brand was in good hands. And so I found myself with a little extra time that I didn't have anymore to run that business, and more I just was living in these moments of hot flashes, night sweats, and constantly asking everybody around me like, "Hey, is it hot or is it just me?" And then I realized like that's what I should name my business, and so I decided to create a resource for eventually finding other products and brands that I can bring to women. So this time around, starting the business hasn't been as difficult. I think the part that's new for me is being really vulnerable and open about my personal life and what's happening for me and my body during this time.
I know, isn't that so vulnerable? Like, I'm writing a book, it'll be out in May of 2026.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just finished a chapter yesterday, and I was like, wow, I am really being vulnerable about sharing my story. And on one hand, it's like super scary. You're like, these aren't things I would normally share. But on the other hand, it's important because we want to, when we're here to help women, we want them to know that we're there alongside you. Like we understand what you're what you're going through. So I totally get the vulnerability part.
I think that that's so common. We think that this is just happening to us, but this is a universal
Yeah.
experience, right? 100% of us will go through this experience in some way, shape, or form. And it's curious to me is at this time in life, I'm also dealing with it alongside, a partner who's has symptoms of andropause or like male menopause, if you will, and then children who are starting their puberty journey. So it's just a hormone
Mhm.
household, and then, amongst your friend groups, some of them, have found different ways and solutions, and it's not a one size fits all approach.
That's so true. I always say, like, we have a toolbox, and in that toolbox, we have different things. My lane is nutrition, lifestyle, and supplements. And then you also have the option of hormones if that's what you choose to do. But I totally agree with you. It's a synergistic toolbox with all these different tools that synergistic tools that we can use that are all in this toolbox. And I think it's a matter of doing and using what works best for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had heard one of your podcast interviews a while back, and it had blown my mind to hear that it was almost 100 symptoms that are,
103. That's what we
wow.
published on 103 plus actually, but we're
It's
like it's
incredible.
100. Yeah, there are so many symptoms, and talking about those symptoms is so important because then it allows women to feel validated and be
Mhm.
like not gaslit or not dismissed, right, by others when they're saying like, listen, my ears are itchy, and be like, I think I might be in perimenopause. It's like, well, no, it can't be that, or
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? So it just kind of validates us.
Yeah, I love the more obscure ones too. Of like, the ringing in your ears was one that was common for me.
Tinnitus.
And then, yeah, same thing
Yeah.
for the phantom smells. Like every now and again, almost like I was going through pregnancy again, where I had this like super smells, but then I realized like, are these real smells? Is anyone else smelling these? So yeah, it's definitely curious. And then, obviously like the greatest hits, if you will, of
Yeah,
of
exactly.
symptoms. Yeah.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about what are the types of products we could find on your website?
Yeah, so I've sectioned off the website by symptoms, right? So what you might need for hot flashes and night sweats. So this is beyond, hormones or beyond supplements. More, what you surround your home with, what you wear on your body, what you sleep on, things like that. So we also have tips for each of these symptoms. So for things like hot flashes and night sweats, optimizing the temperature in your room, even sleeping closer to the air vents, cutting out things like caffeine or alcohol, especially as the day ends. And then, other things that you could have, say, on your bed. So bedding, pillowcases, we have sleepwear, sleep shirts, nightgowns. During the day, you might want, like what I'm wearing is a cooling necklace and a cooling bracelet that work fantastic. They're freezable and kind of, hit your pulse points. Personal fans that you might hold in your hand or
Yeah.
wear on your neck while you're, doing something outdoors or sometimes even indoors. Cooling eye masks if you find yourself with a migraine or, just a hot flash, you need to kind of cool down on your temples. For vaginal dryness, we have a collection of lubricants,
Amazing.
oil-based, water-based. We also have uh, sorry, personal massagers. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say vibrators on your
Yes,
podcast.
you could say whatever you
Okay.
want to say on our podcast.
And then yeah, other things for your hair and skin. We have a bookstore, and then we have about 100 articles on various topics and resources. So working on a services directory as well. So to find practitioners for say
Oh,
things like
amazing.
acupuncture, or hair treatments and things like that.
That's amazing. So, what is the name of your website so people who are listening can go to?
Yeah, so it's hotorjustme.com. And we've also set up a 15% discount code for your listeners using the code Morphus. And so that they can apply that to their site. And we also have quite a few gifting options. So if there's another woman in your life that you want to share, a gift card or, bundle as well, we've bundled some of our products together based on needs. Stay cool and calm, or, get some sleep, or whatever that might be.
I love that. It's funny, before Randy and I started Morphus, we were like, oh, I don't know if she told you this story when you spoke, but we were like, oh, we'd love to do a store for menopause. And I think we had looked into the domain of like menopausestore.com or something, whatever it was, I forget. But we ended up
Yeah.
not doing that. We went in a totally different direction. We ended up selling supplements. But I actually love the idea of being a
Oh, thank
store,
you.
and I love what you're doing. It's kind of like that one-stop shop where women can go to and they literally can find anything and everything that they need regarding this phase of life. So I love that you have, different products from different areas of
Yeah.
what we would use and how we would incorporate them into our life.
Yeah, I think a big part too is what I found as being, sort of a solo woman entrepreneur before, saying like, how can I help other female-founded brands as well in this process? So making sure that the brands that I have on the site are female-founded or female-run and operated, and even, the people who ship our products are women, the people who created the website. So
I
basically
love
trying
that.
to rise up as many women businesses as possible. And then in the same spirit of giving back, so finding on like other groups or charities that I can contribute to. So period.org is a big one where we help young women have access to menstrual care. And then
Nice.
as it impacts so much, right? Like their education, their work, their ability to participate, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to find the right avenue right now for another group supporting women in the workplace. So as we experience menopause in the workplace, how can businesses be more helpful to the women? We have so many programs for pregnancy and for, postnatal care, but we don't really have anything to support as women as we experience these symptoms in the workplace.
And it's so important. One of the surveys that I'll be published for by the end of this year is on women in the workplace.
Perfect. Oh, I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, so it's all research regarding women and women who've left positions or who they speak to about it in the workplace, what type of support they're looking for, what type of support they get. So, and
Yeah.
I'll be able to share more of that as once it's out. I'm going to the Menopause Foundation. I'm showcasing our posters. I have three surveys that we'll have published, as I mentioned. So we'll have our posters there at the menopause show, and then I'll be able to share it afterwards. So I'm excited, and I'll be excited to share it with you as well. But
Oh,
I
that's
think that's
fantastic.
great. Supporting, and it's funny. I was just talking to someone the other day, and I was saying how, what do I want to do with my life? And we're talking like long term, what are we going to do? And I'm like, look, eventually, once I'm in a different place, what I would love to, in a different place in my career, what I would love to do is support women entrepreneurs because I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. I've had the same female business partner for 25 years. This is our third company, Morphus. And for me, we want to talk about women in the workplace. I had never experienced any type of like misogyny or I don't even discrimination. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, until I got into the menopause space. And I found it to be so interesting to me. I had three different situations where I was told by men certain
Hmm.
things. And I'm like, would you have said that to me if I was a woman? And, it was just such a weird kind of there were weird interactions and just the things that were said. And I'm like, women need to support other women. And especially in the workplace, we need to support each other with fundraising, with communication, with PR, with everything that's out there, right? So with products, with
Yeah.
your business, like whatever it is. So I'm a big advocate of women helping women. So that's why
Yeah.
I love what you're doing. Love it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's interesting you said that about like discrimination, and it's sort of weird because I'm starting to see it kind of come out in an interesting way as a business owner for things like advertising on Google, for example, right? Like you can see a million ads for, say, like erectile dysfunction, but when it comes to saying like vaginal dryness, you get dinged and it comes across as like, some kind of pornography. And so it's just bizarre that there's not enough support, from top to bottom, right? And in an industry it just really affects everyone. So
Mm.
I'm shocked. Definitely, making waves around that. And then in the same way, I know that you've probably shared the stat and that many of your listeners know that most doctors don't have, more than a handful of hours of training when it comes to menopause. So it's good to see that there are some legislation bills in effect now that's going to, attempt to change that. But it's shocking to me that it's happening at a state by state level, and why isn't this happening at a federal level? So, yeah.
Well, hopefully things will change. I mean, now we just heard that they're, giving the NIH has research that's going to be put aside for us. Like, so things are changing. Doctors are
Yeah.
starting to learn about it. So the good thing is it is going in the right direction. And I think,
Yeah.
yeah. And I
And
think
we have to be, advocates for ourselves, and, thankfully for platforms like yours there where women can hear about, how to approach this with their doctors or what they should be looking out for, and then, share it with their friends as well.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't talk about? I mean, are there any ways that I can help support you?
Oh, thank you. I think just getting the word out, making sure that women know that there are, things beyond, if, hormones are an option for you, or even if they aren't, whichever path that you choose to take is totally fine, but that there are, supplements and natural methods and things that you can do to help support your comfort and ease during this transition. And more than anything, just really knowing that you're not alone, that we're all in this, and we're all in this together.
And what if people like who are listening who have their own businesses or started their own businesses and want to connect with you about purchasing? So we have our consumers and listeners who are, can please go to Carin's website and go buy products. But what about people who maybe want to contact you about selling their products that are for women in this stage of life?
Absolutely, yes. I would love to connect with as many female founders as possible, so that we can all benefit from each other's. And because I think you might be experiencing one symptom at this time, and then, in a couple of weeks or a couple of months, something else comes up. So, knowing that there are various solutions for you for all of these symptoms on the site, and some that maybe I haven't posted yet. So I would love to connect with any female business owners to help them build their businesses as well.
I love it. So how can people, so you mentioned your website, mention it again, and then
Yeah.
please share how people can get in touch with you.
So the website is Hot or Just Me, as in, is it hot or
Yep,
is it
you
just
said that.
me?
Yeah, I love that.
And we could also be found on all socials at Hot or Just Me. And you can email me directly at cc@hotorjustme.com.
I love that. Thank you so much for doing this today. Congratulations, like I said, and I wish you a lot of success.
Oh, thank you so much.
If you enjoyed my interview with Carin, please share it because the more you share shows you care. And please take a moment to rate and review our podcast because when you do, the algorithm sends it out to more people. So more women in perimenopause and menopause can access our amazing interviews and guests. And be sure to check out her website to help support another woman in perimenopause and menopause. Thank you for spending the last little bit with me. I know there's a lot you could be doing, but instead you chose to spend your time with me. And for that, I'm grateful. I'll see you at the next interview.